Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm Michael. The grandkids call me Roo. Thanks for being on Roodoodles Live. It's Tuesday morning. Woohoo! I think it's 279 days today. I believe that's right. 78 was yesterday, so that would make today 79. I don't know. Who counts this? I don't. I quit making marks on the wall because I ran out of wall space. But sounds like a prison sentence, doesn't it? I made marks on my wall. Hey, glad to have you on the show this morning. You know, every Monday, Tuesday, Lord willing, Saturdays at 8:57, I pop up online here. This has been a crazy week for the internet. Just been absolutely nuts. It's just doing weird things. And so you just have to roll with the punches. Cameras wouldn't start up, and then the live stream software wouldn't recognize them. So it's a restart. It is what it is. So no apologies. Just get with it. Pour another cup of tea. You've got paint in front of you. You've got brushes. So just celebrate life. And let's go from there. Hey, top of the morning to you. Amy Van Divers Escrow. I have no idea how to pronounce your name, but I like it. Sgro Escrow. Michelle Renee, thank you. Michelle Renee. I know you by Michelle Porter, but it's okay. I think you're popping over at my house today. We're going to go by Receipt Painter from now on out. Bob Hendricks, thank you for being on the show. Morning from the Fair to Midland cornfields of Iowa. Fair to Midland. How you doing? Fair to Midland. Fair to Midland. Fair to Midland. That's a good thing. It's crazy how things that we thought were just Southern idioms, like fair to Midland, are really they just are part of our slang language everywhere. I love that. Beverly Edwards Miller, thank you for being on the show. And Brenda Jaquila Woolcox, thank you for being on the show. And Deborah Tauber, Linda Linhart, all the way from Orlando, always. A lot of Florida people, a lot of California people, got all people all over the country. Pat Brooks, thanks for being on the show. Blessings to you. Denise Albright, Karen Binder, which sometimes I say Bender, but I think it's Bind. Irma, nice to see you on the show today. Melanie Wilkes from Shellman Bluff, Georgia. That's right near somewhere else Bluff. I don't know. I've been to a couple of bluffs in Georgia. Susan Peters, thanks for being on the show. Glenda Edwards Small. Cindy Wiltermood, thank you for being on here. Deborah Spangler. Bert Crone from, yes, of course, from Greenville. I know that. Sandra Coner. Zoe Stokes, thank you for being on here. First time watching the show in a while. Actually in Sanibel Island on vacation. Well, somebody has to suffer on Sanibel Island. Holy smokes, what a great place. So Zoe, have a great time down there. Alice Durham, I hope you're painting a little bit, Zoe. Alice Durham, thanks for being on the show. Barbara Mayer, Dorothy Beasley, Jean Anthalsner, Heather Kuhlman, Shinoa, thank you for being on the show. And Donna, Sel Barton, Annette Wall, Pauline Bold, Ruth Ann Godey. Ruth Ann, I hope you got the book. I'm still looking for a painting that somewhere just never made it. I don't know. I'll have to find it and repaint it for you. It happens. Linda, thank you for being on the show. And Ricky and Tom. Tom says top and all sides of the morning to you from the very warm coast of Maine. Yep, I got to get up there this summer. And Tom, your artwork is a trip, man. You got a great wit, and I hope you do this full time because you got the gifts to do it and illustrate and all that. And I'd have to look you up. Pardon me for just being busy and not chasing people down a little bit. But love your art. Love your art. You're very creative. It's fun to see people build community and be creative and get their art out to the world. And Tom, you got art that needs to get out there. Chris Whitaker, thank you for being on the show. Your art, too, is a trip. Tamberly Marie, Carol Todd Mundy, Mary Quayle. Okay, let's, Barbara Wilkinson, yaha. Happy to be in the room and in the rain in Ontario. And Patricia Deaton, Buenos Dias, she always says. John Robert Small, there you go. The Cowboy Coffee of Veracruz is percolating early today. Yes, sir, but I'm having tea. I'm having Builder's tea today. Make mine Builder's, I think they said. I sent them a note, but I haven't heard back from them. They're not really a sponsor of my show yet. And I keep drinking it. Today, I might have reached down in there and gotten another tea bag though, because it's got a little bit of a bitter taste to it today. So Sue Kane, all the way from Australia, thanks for being on the show. Virginia McClure. All right, here we go. Let's Beverly Schmidt, thank you. Sandra Stone, happy Ruse Day, beautiful sunny morning in Central Florida, Space Coast, great beach day. I love the Space Coast. Man, I've seen rockets launch from there. I saw the shuttle. Heck, I shot video on the shuttle that John Glenn took off in the shuttle. I was there. Unbelievable. I convinced the third grade that they needed to have video of their experience there, and they took me with them. So I was there with the third grade. I'm always somewhere with the third grade. Maybe that has nothing to do with chronological, but middle age. There we go. Annette Henslin, thank you for being on the show. She says hello to all, and that's not a hyperbole, I don't think. Julie Hendrick, thank you for being on the show. Lisa Haymaker, good morning to you. Skeeter Powell. Harper Kraft is a guy. Harper Floyd is a gal. Leave it to Skeeter, man. He can figure all that out. Skeeter has got, Skeeter does a thing called David's Table, works with some special folks who love life, and he loves them. And they, in most cases, most of them tend to have a harder time getting around than we do. So he's working on going to camps that have zero lines make sure they're all able to get wheelchairs in and out of pools. I mean, zero lines where you can just roll the wheelchair right in the pool. I love it. It's fantastic. And so, but I know Skeeter really well, and they're passing a roux around the country, and it's really fun. I painted something for them, and they do this art class, and then each month someone gets it and it's shipped. They take care of shipping it around, and they get to hang it in their own studio for a month. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, June Jones, thanks for being on the show, and Laura Abbott. Let's move through here. Tia, thank you for being on the show, of course. Yes, there we go. I was just talking about you guys. In fact, Tia, I think in the shot you are actually holding the roux. Ha! So, love it. Pat Normandale, thank you for being on the show. Mary Lou Mahaffey, you guys are piling on this morning. Bonnie McGehee, thanks for being on the show. And Audrey Gittner, thank you. Ginter. Diane Soha. Wow, look at all you guys. This is fantastic. Thanks for being here today. And I have no idea why my calendar just popped in. Maybe you didn't see it, but I saw it. Here's the desk this morning. Here's what you're looking at. Top of the morning to you. It's showtime. You know, I've done this, let's see, 2017 is when I painted this. There it is right there. It's always fun to look back. This head, of course, is very close to the head that's on the bug out bag, which is I throw down here in this box when I get ready to load up my, oh, you know what? I didn't throw it down here in the box. I actually have it in my briefcase. So there's where it is. All right. I was going to show it to you, but it's the same roux head that's on my cup. There it is right there. That's that roux head. I got to be careful not to spill my tea as I turn this over. There's the roux head right there. Have not heard back from the printer. So sorry. Getting to it. Okay, so let's paint some roux this morning. Here we go. So thanks for being on the show. Let's move it through. You guys have become an unbelievable community. And by the way, people out there in the world of art are taking note of your community. Thanks for sharing the show. Thanks for letting other people know about the show. Thanks for liking the show, hitting those little likes. I appreciate that. The little hearts or the thumbs up or something just to let people know. Because here's what that does. That lets other people know that I'm online, that I'm doing stuff and being creative or trying to help and lead and inspire and encourage. And so like Yasatoma yesterday sent me a note, 2 notes, actually 3 notes, and I sent back and they responded immediately. They're about 3 hours. They're out in San Francisco. And they really did kept their word and said, we're going to send you some brushes. Well, we're not sending them directly to you because we know how you are about the mail. They didn't say that, but that's what they meant. And thank you so much. But here's what they're going to do. They're going to send some brushes. They're going to make their brushes available to Cheap Joe's Art Stuff up in Boone. And starting as early as even next week, I'm going to give away on the show just a brush, 2 brushes to someone, and there'll probably be these brushes here. And so I've sent out some already, but we're gonna grab, and I think we're gonna be giving away the Yasutoma 1, SW1, and the SW3. And so a couple of you, or one person, is going to get those 2 brushes for your arsenal. And I love my bamboo brushes. They are just so fun to paint with. I use them a lot. I have all kinds of brushes, and these are American Journey brushes, and I brag on this quite often. This is my very own first piece of glass I've ever blown, and I blew that up in Virginia, and to keep my oh man, so if you remember that class, that was so fun. I was just going like, this is cool. I mean, I know about blacksmithing, but blowing glass was such a treat. So I keep my American Journey brushes in there from Joe Miller. In fact, I'll pull out, there's one on the desk already this morning. I'll pull out a couple of brushes and let's paint. But they're going to send me some brushes, or they're going to just, I know how many brushes they're sending, and I get to draw a name, send it off to Cheap Joe's in an email. You'll get a brush in the mail. They're going to fulfill the orders from Cheap Joe's. So American Cheap Joe's is going to fulfill Yasutoma brushes, because they sell brushes anyway. If you look at my painting list of what I use on this show most of the time, my American Journey paints from Joe Miller, my American Journey brushes, there is a bamboo brush there, and that's a Yasutoma brush. So I usually keep 2 American Journey brushes because they're inexpensive. They're interlock nylon. They work perfectly for watercolor. I don't have to spend a fortune on brushes, and if I wear one out, I can replace it very easily. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, Yasutoma is a caring company, and I'm just telling you, they called and said, hey, we want you to be a part of this. We love your community. That's on you guys. So thank you from Roo here. All right. So here's what I'm going to do today. Here's the notes for the show. Ready? Let me show you the notes for the show. Look, take a look. Can you read this? Hot, cold, and Luke. Not so hot. That's my show notes for today. And I even put it on the back of these 2 little birds. I could have probably said, hey, hot, cold. And then maybe over here, I got this. Oh yeah, this would be good. This would have been a good little caption here. See, if I'd been thinking hot, cold, and nope, drew that wrong. Let's see if I draw it like this. There we go. Luke, not so hot. Okay, so you see what's happening there. These 2 birds are sitting up on the wire, and this bird's hanging down under it. So there we go. So there's hot, there's cold, there's not so hot. I wasted a lot of time doing that, but here we go. All right, so let's start off with I got some paper up here, and it's all 9 by 12. It's big painting morning. I'll have to clear off a little more space. That's my Leatherman there. Look at that, my Leatherman's got my name on it. Is that cool? My son gave me this, and look what's on the other side. See that? The Roo's head. Oh, man, that's cool. This is the Leatherman Wave, and this is just a great handy tool. I keep it close by. It's usually in my bag with another pocket knife. Let me put it back down in there. Made by the Ted Leatherman Company. All right, so let's do this. Let's do hot first. Fabriano hot press. I'm going to put all these other papers down there. Fabriano hot press. So what I want to do, I'm going to do a big Roo. I'm going to try to do them similar so you can see hot, cold, and big. I need a couple big Roos anyway for something I'm working on. I got to pass one off to an auction. Auction piece? What's an auction piece? Oh, the bird piece? Yeah, maybe June. We could do that. Hot, cold, not so hot. All right. Hey, the auction's coming up. In fact, I may do an auction. Watch out for your Facebook page. I'll come on and do a little break-in live. I don't know. I'm going to do it really soon. It could be the end of this week or the first part of next week. I don't know. Will Friday night work for an auction? I might even do a Friday PM auction. You know, it's late. You don't have to get up the next morning. And I do. I got to do a class for a show. All right, so here, this is hot pressed paper. It's 25% cotton. It's slick as a pressed shirt. It's good watercolor paper. It's made for watercolor, but it's slick. So you have to be careful with the water and the paint. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a big old Roo, and I'm going to paint him with, let's see, I'll just paint him with this, since I've been talking about Yasutoma, I'll paint him with the Extreme Gel Pen. It's an 05. It's a tiny micro roller ball, okay? But remember, it's almost like the needle point, but it puts out a little more ink. So here we go, right here. A little, yes, auction time. Tell me if you think, tell me if you think Friday night will work, and I might do a Friday night auction. So just pop it in there. I see Karen saying yes. Make some popcorn. So long until we paint again, Philip. Thanks for popping up on the show, Philip Wilbarger. Okay, received art auction payments last Saturday. Second smaller ones. Do you guys frame these? Yes, I don't frame them. Okay, but somebody frames them. Okay, $33, Bob says. Dude, I love your repetition and humor. You make me laugh. All right, Denise says love Friday nights. All right, so watch this. Here we go. This is hot pressed paper. Really? I'm going to go hot, cold, Luke, not so hot. And go. Not going to rush here, but I'm actually going to paint this little Roo looking back over his shoulder. There he is right there. There's the eye. Here's his comb. Maybe come down like that with the leg, and then maybe this one comes out here. Look, these don't have to be marvelous sketches, because that's all I'm going to do right there. That's kind of the gist of it right there. You can see it. All right. So this is hot. So I'm going to grab a brush. And in this case, I'm going to grab let's grab one of these that you're going to get. There's a number 2. Let's see if there's a number 1 in here, or number 3. What's this? That's a 0. Number 1. Well, I'll just grab a 1. We'll paint it with a 1. A 1 will be plenty for this demonstrations. Okay, so the couple of brushes I'm going to give away that will be coming up. Oh, here's one right here. That's a 2. That's okay. This 1 will work. All right, so I haven't wet these paint down a little bit, so I'm just going to sort of, whatever goes in my brush is what I'm going to work with today. We'll set that over there. I'll come in and I'll do the comb like this. Man, look at that paint jump on there, okay? So there's some red right there. There's Joe's Red. This is a mixture of Joe's Red and Hot Mama Red. And then I just want to put a little red down in here, and I'm going to add a little water. And notice I'm not going to worry about drips or splashes, because this is, what am I trying to say? This is hot pressed paper, so it's going to take off pretty well anyway. In fact, I might change this palette and go to my bigger palette just to show you how I can do this. So now I'm just letting this sort of bleed in, and I'm going to go get some water on my brush. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to sprinkle some water around a little bit like this, but not too much more than that. Now, you can't see that, but let me see if, there it is. Look right there. See that? See that shining? That's what I did. Okay, so now I'm going to go get a little bit of blue paint. So let's change horses in the middle of the stream here. Can you see all the bird? There we go. All right, so there we go. All right, so look what I'm holding here. I'm holding a butcher's tray, and I've just got some of my same colors. It's easier to scoop up a lot of these like so. All right. I'm looking to get some of that dark in there. So there we go. Look at that right there. See? All right, so you got to remember, hot press doesn't hold the paint or the particles of pigment like cold press does. Okay, it just doesn't. It's the paper's smoother. It's been pressed down. Oh, really? How ironic that it's been pressed down. Maybe that's why they call it hot press. All right, so let's go in here and just grab some other colors, get along messy a little bit. And let's throw some, we got some red down here. Throw a little red in there like so. let's see. Let's put a little blue in there just to let that jump a little bit, and maybe a touch of, what is this, orange, or I don't know what color that is. That's just, who knows what is it. I kind of like it though. It's going to go well with that. Orange and blue go together really well. All right, so I need some leg color. So a mix between this yellow, this orange, a touch of red. Just get a little bit of what I put on my rooster's legs. That looks good right there. Yeah, that's good. All right, see that? Kind of coming in. See, I'm just using this brush. Look how I'm kind of holding the brush way up here just to flip some of this looseness. That's the part that I really do like. I like throwing that in. I could probably put a little, got some ugly color over here. What's this? Oh, is that purple? Oh, I love it. All right, we'll throw some of that in there. Just let it happen. So what I'm going to have to do right now is just let this rooster, just let him sort of just sit there for a little bit and rest and let the colors come together. If there's too much red in some of this, I can pull some out with a little push of a paper towel and drop a little more yellow in there. I'm not trying to rush and do this at the speed of light. This is just how I paint loose sometimes. So I've got this painting that I dropped on American Journey paint, and I put a lot of water on here with that brush. Even though that's just a #1 brush, it will put down a lot of water. The thing about bamboo brushes is you got to learn that. But a lot of water on hot paper is so much more water. It sounds so silly. The same amount of water on hot paper looks like it's twice the amount of water on cold paper, just because it doesn't get soaked in. It just lays on the surface like a puddle and it moves around. Okay, so I'm going to move this over to the side and just let it dry. I could always come back in with a little bit of a pen and I could mark a little bit of detail in there if I wanted to. And I would. I'd come back later and come into the feet like this. I say later as he does it right now. Maybe even put some pen in here. All right, so I'm going to let this just move aside here for a second and let it just do what it does, okay? Not sign it, not do anything, just lay it down. And I'm going to lay it over there, so I'm really not even going to look at it because I don't want it to confuse me with what I'm doing next. This is Kilimanjaro, cold press, hot, cold. This is cold press. This is 100% pure rag cotton, okay, or cotton rag. So here we go. I'm going to use the same pen, and I'm going to do a similar roux. There's his beak. There's his wattle. Here's his comb. Here's his back coming around like this. Come down here. Go in for a little bit of a foot right there. And maybe the other foot's coming down this way. Maybe a toe is spread out a little bit like that. And there's about all that I painted on the other one. I did do a little bit of an eye. So there's the eye, and there's the rest of that coming down. Maybe a touch of, okay, so there's the next roux. See him? All right. So let's go back to this brush. This is what I used a minute ago. Okay, small brush. It's a #1 Yasutoma bamboo brush. I'm going to go in. I'm going to start the way I started the other one. Look at this. Just grab my paint here. I'm going to grab a little bit of red, go in and just go boom, boom, boom. And you see what's happening already. The cold press is making the same paint pop just a little bit more. And why is that? I'll tell you why it is. The cotton, the roughness, grab the facets of it. Think of a diamond, different facets, more areas to shine. It grabs the paint and says, hold on, I don't want you to run away. I love what you got going here. Stick with me for a while. I don't think it talks to himself like that, but well, maybe I think it does. I just said that for you. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here and just get a little more of this water and let this work down. Now I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other one. Remember what I did? I went over, I got some water in my brush. I just pushed it over here around like this. No in particular direction. Let me show you what I got. See the shine on it right there? Okay. All right, now I'm going to go get some of this blue. Back to my butcher tray. Here it is right here. Why am I using this? This is the same paint that's in here. Okay? Same identical paint. I have not changed pigment on you. I've not changed color on you. This is just a messier format, but it's easier for me to use these brushes and get paint on their sides by rolling them like this than it is pushing them down into a pan, which I don't like to do for the bristles or the hair anyway. This is actual hair. So in this case, I'm just going to go in with some of that blue, and I'm just going to touch it into where the water is, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other one. I'm not going to go back down there and look at that other one. So you won't see me cast I'm tempted, but I'm not going to cast my vision down there to take a look at that one because I just want to see how this one turns out. They're not supposed to be identical. They're just supposed to be the same sort of similar similar. That's 3 S's. I think I had a little bit of green in here. I'm just trying to remember what all I put in there. And I had some of this bottom end orange that I came in with. Look what that does. It almost goes brown in there, doesn't it? That's pretty cool looking. All right. Maybe just a little bit of purple down in here somewhere like so. Touch of red right in here, kind of like that. Maybe a little bit of, I didn't have any turquoise on the other one, so we'll just, oh, look at that. Got a little bit of green on green. It went emerald, but I love that look. Maybe a little bit of earth and green here that somebody sent me recently. A little more purple up here on this side. Just let this dance in. Look how I'm holding this brush. I'm way up here. Yeah, people, you guys are giving, this is the reason I'm doing this, because I see a lot of you commenting on, oh my gosh, I've painted on paper like this for years. I prefer cold press. Yeah, so do I. But every now and then, just break the cotton picking mold, step out of line, and quit marching like everybody else, and march to a different drum a little bit and change it up. Paint with your other hand if you have to. Get the brush in here. You want to paint loose? Paint with the opposite hand. You go, you got to be kidding me. Okay? There's no way you can do that. Took me a long time to learn how to play the guitar because my left hand was like, it doesn't work, Dad. He goes, stay with it, son. Stay behind the mule. Okay? Working on Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle today. Just a few little stories in my department that have to be changed. A few typos here and there. Wonder how those got in there. Who knows? All right. Whoa, I like this rooster. Maybe he needs just a little bit of some sloppiness there on him. Let's give him a little bit of sloppy pen work. There it is right there. I don't like that piece that popped right there. I'm going to erase that off his beak. He looks like he's got, looks like he was kissing a frog. Got a wart. Okay, there we go. All right. Put a little earth under him a little later when we come back in to sign him. All right, so hot was the first one. I'll show them all comparison to you. This is cold. Now let's go to Luke. And what are we going to do Luke on? A paper that couldn't make up its mind. That's what we're going to do this on. So let me put this one in the floor. This will be the first time that I'll look at the other one. Whoa. I see that, and now I look down and I saw I used a little more purple on the other one. So it got hot, got cold, and now let's go to something really bonkers. Let's go to two papers that I'd call Luke. This is a dead giveaway. When you're watching a watercolor show, thanks for liking my show. When you're watching a watercolor show, and you see him throw a piece of paper down that says acrylic, you go, you know what? That dude ain't right. Something's wrong there. We're watching a watercolor show. He's telling us about hot pressed paper. He's telling us about 140-pound cold paper. And now he says, oh, let's paint on acrylic paper. Okay, so I've done this before, but I'm going to show you again. So this is the Luke paper. Luke, not so hot, not so cold. He's Luke. Okay, so here's a piece of acrylic paper, and it has a linen finish. Okay, so it looks like cloth. I kind of like this paper, but let's do another one here. So let's go with the same pen, if I can find it. Oh, it's over here. Okay, go with the same pen. All right. If you got a question, fire it up there, and I'll try to find it. Great blending of colors. Hot press, dang spell check. Love the purple area. Good morning, Roo friends. Let's see. It looks like a rainbow Roo. I use both, but hot press, I think you mean hot press. Right, Chris, I know that about you. Hot press is your favorite paper because of the way you like the smoothness of how it blends together. And Pat has used a word here. She says the mottling of these colors, the blending of how one color lays on top of the other, and they just go together. I think that's one of the things you have to figure out is that your style? Why would I do this? I would do this because you may not find your style through regimented painting every day on the same piece of paper with the same pen and the same brush. You may not. You may find your style experimenting and playing. So when you learn to make practice your play and play your practice, I sound like I'm teaching in Roo Basics class, right? That's what you want to do. So hot, cold, this is the first paper in the Luke department. This is acrylic paper made for acrylic paint. I have no acrylic paint on this desk. I have no oil paint on this desk. It is all watercolor. Here we go with the same Roo. Zoop, okay? Just guessing where his leg needs to be down here. And this one too comes down, put a toe there, a toe there, a toe there. Not the greatest feet I've ever drawn, but I think you understand this is for a demonstration. But I think he's going to turn out okay. I believe you might like him when he's finished, okay? Same brush. It's a number 1 Yasutoma bamboo brush. Going with the same format. Pull over my American Journey paints. Get a little bit of this beautiful red. Come in right here. And I'm going to tell you, because it has a linen finish, the paint sits on it a little bit because this is a Luke paper. It's between hot and cold. It's like, hey, we're not pressed all the way down flat, but we're also a linen surface. And we're going to respond to water and color a little bit different. They just are going to do it, okay? You can see why this would be a fun paper for... You can see why this would be a fun paper for acrylic paint if you're an acrylic painter, okay? I personally, it's me. I just am not an acrylic fan. Why? The reason is I don't know, except it reminds me of school projects. Maybe that's the reason. And that is so immature, but it is what it is, okay? Taking some of that ultramarine blue and just winding my brush around and then just dropping it in there and letting it take off like this on this linen paper. I do like what happens with the bleed into this linen paper. You can almost see what looks like the fabric. Can you see that right there? Look at that. It looks like I'm painting on a piece of fabric. So they're not kidding when they say it's a linen finish. It has this texture that looks like you're painting on a feed sack of some sort. Really kind of cool. I used some of this orange blue in there. I know that without looking back down. I'm just trying to remember what I did. I used some of this purple right in here. I didn't use as much purple in the cold. I used some of this beautiful green right in here just to mix those colors in. In the words of Harry Chapin, there's so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun. So many colors in the flowers, and I see everyone. And the little boy said, man, I miss Harry. I miss Harry. Harry died in July 1981. I remember right where I was. Sad day. Got the news on a little radio. Was up in Virginia visiting some friends, and we're out in a little boat doing some fishing. Just heard that Harry Chapin was killed in a car accident. I wept. He was so inspiring to me as I started in my music career. Short career it was. All right. So there you go. That gives you a little idea of what that looks like on linen paper. Kaboom. All right. Maybe I'll take a little green and slide across here like I did. Finish all that out later. There's a little piece I must have just hit a drip on. So watch this. I'm going to go pick that up while it's still wet. Needs a shot of orange right in here because that linen is grabbing some color and taking it down the street. And same with the blue. I need just a little bit of brighter blue right in here if I can get it. Got to make sure you clean your brush out good before you put it in your next colors, okay? Man, if I do anything with children when I'm teaching art to kids, I say, stop! Don't put the brush back in the paint. Wash it out first and then put it back in the paint. It's okay if you're putting it in the same color, but don't get carried away. Okay, so hot, cold, Luke. Here, throw Luke down here. There's Luke. Now, second part of Luke is this. Ready for this? 9 by 12. Man, we're trucking today. I'm doing these faster than I thought I'd do them. But we're going to go back and look at each one. Bristol paper. This is made by Strathmore. Buy it at a big box store. Bristol paper. And this one, by the way, is not linen surface, but vellum. V-E-L-L-U-M. Vellum surface. Think of, not velvet. This is not going to be an Elvis painting. It's vellum. 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 All right. Let me just rip it. Oh, already ripped the page out. There it is right there. Okay. All right. This is going to feel like hot press. It's going to feel, but it's going to feel a little more like cardboard compared to a piece of hot press watercolor paper. Okay. It's going to feel a little thicker, and it's really made to take dry media. So once again, I'm breaking the rule with the acrylic paper. You don't paint watercolor on acrylic paper. I just did. You also generally don't paint watercolor on Bristol board because it's made for dry media. Okay, dry media being a Sharpie or a really thick dry paint that dries quickly, or colored pencils or crayons. I'm painting watercolor on it. So what? Break the rules a little bit. What rules? Break the rules a little bit to get out and play. Okay. So here's the rooster. Here's his eye again. All right, so there he is. All right, same brush, same process. They're going like, wait, did we just see this? Yeah, oh, this guy ain't right with himself. Okay, he must have woke up early and thought of this idea. All right, so this paint is sliding across this paper, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to be interesting to see how it all dries out. I'll wash my brush out good. I'm going to dip in here and get a little of this bright gamboge. All right. Excuse me 1 second. It's time to get my hair out of my face. By the way, it's haircut day, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'll look different on the class tomorrow. Trust me, I'm going for a haircut. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to put some of this water back up in here like so. Just dance around a little bit. All right, let's go back over here. Grab some of this ultramarine blue, which is what I call French blue. It's what Carol and I call it. We call it the French blue. It's because everything in France is blue. It's the flag blue. It's the door blue. It's everything. Their snails are blue. Everything over here. I'm just making all this up. Okay. So I'm a storyteller. The reason I didn't call myself a storyteller for years is because people said, you're a storyteller. And I went, no. And they said, why not? Because my mother would say that, and she meant you're telling a lie. So I didn't know it was a good thing until I got past college age, and when I started entertaining on stage, and people say, oh, he's a storyteller. And I'm going like, oh, that's a good thing. So I still don't tell people I'm a storyteller very often. I just show up and tell a story. If I tell people that I'm a storyteller, they tend to, it's like when you tell people that, it's a whole lot more fun to tell people you're writing a book than that you've written a book. If you say I'm writing a book, they go, oh my goodness, that is so marvelous. That's interesting. That's fantastic. But if you tell them you've written a book, they go, I never heard of it. So you sort of have to roll with the punches a little bit. So what I like to do sometimes is just show up at places and tell stories. And they go, what was that? And somebody goes, he must be a storyteller. So it's kind of how my brain works. I like to catch them off guard and by surprise. In fact, there's a whole story about reveal in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. And it's just about building up to an element of surprise and revealing. And in your art, you have the ability to reveal things and bring people into your world. Sometimes I don't put the caption on there until the very last thing. There are several reasons for that. One is I have no idea what the caption is going to be. And the other one is I want the people watching me paint it to go, what? Where's this going to go? What's it going to be? You don't want me to tell you exactly how the movie ends before you see the end of the movie. You know, I just watched a series of some television shows, and you don't want to know how it ends before you watch all the drama unfold. It's like, I'm not going to watch that. I know how it ends. So, just be careful with what you do there a little bit. All right, so I like that orange. I'm going to put that orange on this one. That orange rocks on this paper. But I do think I need a little bit more of this brighter blue right in there, just like this. I'm just going to slap some blue down in there. Whoops. I'm going to have to go by goodwill today. I got to go out, so I think I'm just going to go by goodwill. It's about time to find myself a couple of new white shirts and retire these to the shop. I think I need some rags out there to stain some stuff with. All right, so there we go. There's that, and this is a little muddy right here. I'm really not happy with it too much, but the water just kept going and going and going, and I could have probably done it better by not putting so much water. But this is how you learn. So I used a hot press, a cold press. I did a acrylic paper, and now this is a Bristol board, and so I've got hot, cold, and Luke. Luke's not so hot. It's not so cold either. But let's get them out and just take a look at them, okay? All right. Let me see. Hot press, dang. Let me see if there's any. Okay. I put spacer in each corner of the glass. Okay. Somebody's talking about framing, so you're going down a different road. I don't know where you're going. That doesn't matter. Bee paper. Linda Lawless, you say you bought some bee paper. I know some of you are out in the boonies, and if you got a Walmart that doesn't have swath, don't worry about it. The bee paper you might be really happy with. I like it, especially if it's bright white, if it's 100% cotton. You might love bee paper. I think Tom paints on it quite a bit, and I actually can't get it here anymore. I can order it, but I have a bee sketching paper that's made by It's just made by bee paper. This is sketching paper made by Bee Company, bee paper. And so I've used it quite a bit. In fact, I had probably 40 pieces here that I painted and sold all those probably 2019 or so. I like the paper very much. And yes, Laura Abbott, you are so correctly. Let me just say, she's saying here the same is true with colored pencils and with watercolor pencils. The reason I'm showing you this is that every medium is going to work different on different canvases and papers. That's why you have to play with this. Everyone is going to look different. Everyone is going to dry different. Some's going to have smooth lines and blending. Some's going to have hard lines and shadowing. Some's going to have mushrooming effect. Sometimes the dry piece is going to leave a stain. I like that look, but you have to learn what your visual voice is and what it looks like. And that's why you have to play. I'm so used to painting on receipt paper, I've got out to paint on other paper, Michelle says. But I will tell you this, Michelle. I do believe this with my whole heart. Because you've been painting on receipt paper, which will basically, water will cause it to disintegrate in a heartbeat. You have to be so careful with water that it will probably help you turn into much more of a fine watercolor painter down the road, where you have to just go in and touch something simply and you'll go, I didn't ruin that. I made it just the right amount. I used the right amount of water. So Hey, if watercolor were easy, everybody'd be cranking out paintings a million a day. And some of them would be marvelous, and some would be absolutely not so marvelous. Okay. So you're going to learn your style and you're going to learn what you like. But if you don't play around with different kind of papers, you're not going to ever get to your voice. Okay. Pat Brooks says Michelle Paper Bags is next. And by the way, I like painting on paper bags. You're going to like French gray for that. You're going to like this buff titanium for that. You're going to like some titanium white for that. You're going to like some grays for that and some greens. And by the way, some light oranges on paper bags really will turn into a marvelous coastal looking cliff. You got to play with it. Mixed media playing around. Yes. Okay. Uh, I'm looking at any comments here. Just give me a second. Yes. I did paint a pizza box lid. I've done that already. I painted on cardboard boxes. I painted on wood with watercolor. Okay. Um, Natural and black paper, Becky says. Okay. Um, I can't wait until Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle is released. Me either. I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to love the fact that there's this piece of artwork uh, on one side, and on the other side is a story. Pat's done marvelous artwork, and it's in some cases it's just really simple. In some cases, it's got some great little pieces you're going to want to look in it. And she just ran with those on her own. I wanted her to keep them light, but at the same time, I didn't want to overproduce this. And I actually say that in the book as I talk about how she and I have met, and she and I have really not even met in person. I just liked her style, and I loved her calligraphy skills with words. And so when we took on Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, it was a year ago April, and I said, I think we can do this fast, and I was lying through my teeth. It takes a long time, but we're close. So you're going to get the painting that she did on one side of the page, and the book is about, let's see how big the book is here. The book is, well, the book's about this big. Take a look at that. Wait a minute. Is he holding one in his hand? I'm holding a single proof that came in, and I've been reproofing those words to get finished out today. So in fact, it says not for sale right across there, but you're going to see something as simple as consistently inconsistent and inconsistently consistent with all her cool little bees. And then there's going to be a story that says, here's what that really means, and here's where it comes from, and what if you did? And what do I say all the time? Start small and simple. Okay? And so, hey, so I'm proofing that. You got a meeting after this to finish up some text, and then Pat will see a copy, and then we're getting close. We're getting close. So I wasn't going to show that, but a couple of you are talking about it, and why wouldn't I show that today? So Pat, so get excited. You haven't even seen it yet. All right. Woohoo! It's Bee Cotton Paper. Let's see. Bee Paper Company. Yeah, Bee Paper Company is out there. It's really good paper. I think. Here we go. Is this a question? What have you painted on that you consider? I flew it into the ground. Oh, chip fir. Chip. Sometimes when I try to do watercolor on canvases, little canvases like this, it's really difficult. So that's a good thing. So watercolor will fit on Bristol paper and on, and sometimes like painting on thin pieces of paper, like those little sketch journals that I paint in sometimes. I don't like marker paper. I don't like marker paper for watercolor. It's too thin for me. So I've tried a couple little birds on there. And yes, I think I've flown it into the beach. Not my favorite. Just feels a little flimsy, but it's also slick as glass. Why? Because it's made to write Sharpies and magic markers on without going through. Great for grandkids. but also small for grandkids because that's going to be right on your table. So make sure you put something down under them. So that would be one of my least favorite. The other one is this B paper that I use for just quick pencil sketches, mostly in the shop. I bought this for the shop. This is only 50-pound paper. And so there's a little sketch in there. But you can hear how thin this is. Honestly, it says 50-pound, but here's what it feels like to me. It feels like 24-pound copy paper. So I really, even though it has a little bit of a vellum finish on it, vellum, there's that word again. And so it'll hold just a touch of color. I shouldn't use the right end of my brush, but it won't hold much color. And if you paint too much of it, you can turn it over immediately and see it go right through. You see that? I just touched that with water. I'll show you one more time. Watch this. Just touch that right there with a little watercolor and take a look. It's already bleeding through. And if I touch it twice like this and push on it at all and let it soak a little bit, it's going to start to come right through. So this is sketch paper for a pencil, for graphite. Make sure you're 138-pound. We're talking about paper here today. I do this lots. This is 98-pound mixed media. You can paint on this, but it doesn't hold water real well. But it will hold watercolor. 98-pound mixed media paper. This paper here is mixed media, 138-pound. Guess what? Now you're getting into Canson paper that really paints really well. Okay, so. In fact, I'll just rip a piece off and paint on it this morning and show you. So, all right. So, and then I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to go back through all these roos. Let me throw this one down here on the floor. And here we go. I'm just having a hard time keeping up with my pen. Here, let's change the roo anyway. Let me just flip ideas on the roo. Let's make this roo be completely different. Didn't leave much room for his feet, did I? No. So we'll do it this way. We'll put his feet out here like he's running. See there? Solved that problem, didn't I? Okay, so this is 138-pound Canson paper, and I'm not going to finish this roo, but I just want you to see a little bit of difference. And by the way, 138-pound, got a lot of water in this brush. I can dry this brush quite a bit before I go into my paint. Okay? And then go into my paint, and it's going to paint completely different. Look at that. It's a wonderful freeing up brush, but you got to learn how to use it. Okay? It's going to be different than when you're grabbing your American Journey number 8 nylon brush and going in here and grabbing some of this blue, just like so. This is going to be a heavy brush to lay down a lot of color. And if you want that, that's perfect. If you want it to be a little more controlled, go back in here and get some of this and just let it. But this has got a good look to it, okay? Nothing wrong with this painting at all. Just nothing wrong with it, okay? All right, so let me move all this out of the way, and I'll show you the paintings here before we wrap up today, and then I'll answer some questions. And let me move this over there. Hold on, I got to move a little bit of everything. I've got stuff all over the place. I got a note from Minnesota yesterday with a nice gift. I painted for a third grade class up there. I did a video for Jacqueline Browse's third grade class, and she sent me some beautiful little cards of some birds that she had painted, and just a wonderful thank you note, and said her kids loved the painting class. Thank you very much. And then I painted also here in Charlotte for a first grade class, and this is one of my favorite roosters that I got back in the mail. You gotta love this, right? Oh man, this is great. It says, "Dear Mr. Hahn, thank you for teaching us how to paint." Look at some of these roosters that they sent back to me. I did a video for them, and I talked to them about cleaning out their brushes. And here's, I guess the sun's coming up in the roof line, and we got an abstract painter in the house. I love that. This is, I'm thinking that's a heart with a bunch of rainbows around it. That's fantastic. And look at this right here. Look at this rooster. Can you see that? Fantastic. Okay, so these kids sent me this. I'm not sure what this is, but I like it. I might frame this one right here. All right, these are great. So there's somebody sent me a watermelon. I'm into that. That's perfect. And then maybe these are someone do a pear or apples. There's a rooster. This is the rainbow. There's a rooster coming out by the apple tree. And here's someone who said, "Be kind." Don't you love that? And I love this rooster right here. All right, I got to get these down out of the way here so I can show you what I'm talking about. This one. I love that rooster. Look at this rooster. That is so good. And look what he did. He painted a rooster with a paintbrush. You know how I paint my, and there's an easel. Come on, Wes. Good job, man. Wes is in the first grade. I never met him. Never met any of these kids. Just sent out a video and the teachers rolled it on the smart board and let me be a part of their class. And it's really fun. You know, how can you not want to encourage children? Wait, what's this show about? I'm a child. I get to have fun doing this. All right. Here we go. All right, Pat. Pat's first time. I've been holding out on Pat because she has not seen anything about this book. So that's the first time that she saw it. And so it's just really fun. So, Pat, you've done a great job with it. And I have held it off on purpose. You know, your part didn't need any proofing. Your part's been great. My part has a lot of grammar. I know that's hard for you to believe. Okay. But so that's one reason. Part of the reveal, remember what I was talking about a while ago? The reveal on this is, even though she's part of this project and half owner in this project, 50-50, the point is this. I wanted to just surprise you, and you're going to get surprised still when you see it. So anyway. All right, here we go. Here we go. Hot. Got a few minutes here to wrap up. This is hot. So this is the hot press paper. Take a look. Hot press. Fabriano hot press. Take a look. See this? See this right here? See that little line right here? I need a painter. I need a here. Like they do on the Antiques Roadshow. You see this right here? This is a hard line. This is what you get on hot press paper. Look right here. Hard line, hard line, hard line. It's where the color dries and leaves. It's like a sandy line on the shore where the foam dies down. Some people love that in their artwork. Some think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong. I just think you got to, if you love it or not. So what I would do is to this painting now is I'd come back in. I'd boost the eye a little bit. I'd put in this. I'd do some detail. I'd come back in with a little detail here, some toenails, and I'll do that to all these. I might put a little bit of touch with my pen here, just like this. Just a little bit of, maybe a little shadow right in here, and then come back with a brush and just kind of dance on that just a little bit. Let that sort of shadow in. So I'll come back and I'll touch these up. It's your art. Come back and help it. That's the hot press. Here's the cold press. Take a look at this cold press. It's still on the drawing board. Look what's happened here. Do you see how this is blended? Remember what the water does. It soaks in. It softens up the whole atmosphere. Where I came back here and added an extra bit of water, I get a little bit of this hard line, but all this is soft line all through here. All this is soft line right through here. This is hard line, soft line. So you have to decide what your style is. This one, though, is going to look really cool when I come back in and put the detail in it. And I'm just going to say that I like this. I like them both, but I'm probably a cold press paper kind of guy. This is really cool. Except you look over here and you go, well, you used a little more purple here. Okay, so I'm going to cheat with that one. I'm going to go back and say, yeah, you're right. I'm going to put a little purple right in here just like this too, with a little more water in it. And I'm just going to let that one dry down there now. So that's hot, cold. Here is Luke. This is Luke with the acrylic paper. Okay, so I've got a nice blend, but I also have this that looks like I painted on fabric. Man, that's fun here. But look at this right here. This is the thing I love, the surprise and the reveal about watercolor. Come on, people. Have some fun with your art. Don't be so cotton picking stuffy that you let a good idea go by the boards because you were afraid to play with it and mess up. Just fail sometimes. Hey, I fail a lot of times. This is Bristol board, and look at this. kind of like it. I kind of like it. Okay, so what I've got is, and by the way, I'll throw these in the auction for. I'll start them at $8.57. Maybe Friday night if you guys want to show up at an auction Friday night. I'm partial to the Luke painting, but I'm married to him. If your husband's name Luke, Heather, you got no choice. So both of these are Luke. So you just have to decide which one you like the best. Okay, Luke or Luke. All right, so, hey, now, you're looking through a camera. The only way you're going to know this is every now and then when you get a few pennies ahead is burst out there and buy some decent cold press, some decent hot press, and just play around with it. And you might want to try one of the linens, or every now and then if you're in an art store, my hand just goes over and I grab this thing of Bristol board because it is just so fun to sketch on and mess around with. It's like painting on just a beautiful hard piece of canvas. But Chip, I never finished my thought, I don't think. But when I try to paint watercolor on canvas, it just doesn't work. I have to really size the canvas up. What I mean by that is I have to put a gesso or something on there, and then it still wants to hold acrylic paint or oil paint better. So, but I do have some papers that are too thin, and I fly it into the dirt. All right. Rooster with a tinge of purple on his belly. Yeah, this one right here. See, some of you like this. Okay. All right. Hey, look, watch your Facebook page, and I'll look at my schedule and see if maybe Friday night we have a little auction. I have a whole stack of roos over there, and now I have 4 big old roos that we'll just throw. I'll come up with captions for these. I'll tell you what, though, this paper is so cotton picking heavy. It's like 246 pounds. This is really kind of fun. That's the Luke paper number 1. That's the acrylic paper. And I painted the big quilting roo on that, if you remember that, okay? And I also stuck my sleeve in the paint, the red paint. So might have to change shirts today before I go have my hair cut. All right. This has been a fun day to just kind of experiment with you guys. Thank you for allowing me to play and let you see the success and the failures of watercolor painting, okay? And you don't have to be a marvelous painter to do that. Hey, you know what? You don't have to be a good painter to do this show, right? I've proven that. But thanks for loving the show. Thanks for hitting those likes for me and telling the people about the show. I think I go out and paint some walk rocks. Okay. Sue Kane says, good luck with your haircut. Quilting roo. Yeah, Dorothy, I don't have it with me, but I'll find a picture of it and throw it up there. And Amy, you got to start with that imagination. Okay, so love it, love it, love it. And all right, here we go. Hey, get out there and paint and enjoy and take a sip of tea right now or coffee, something in your cuppa. Or if you're Chris, you're going to paint a gnome. If you're Denise, you're going to paint a dog. If you're Tom, you're going to paint a cartoon character or a building. Man, I love those little buildings that you're coming up with in the plein air stuff. So my point is this. If you're Pat, you're going to write something and come up with some more words. So here's the thing. Take a sip of something and send out a text this morning and just go, oh, man, I was just thinking about you. And don't tell them why, because you say, I spilled paint and it made me think of you. Or I just had to throw a rock and knock a squirrel out of a tree. All right. Hey, be a smile for somebody today. Would you do that? Blessings to you all. Who just said that? Debbie Cunningham. Look at that. You just said it. I just said it. It popped up on my screen there. I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. Yep, known Olympics today.